All right, everyone, an epic win for Trump for having pointed this out literally 10 years ago. We will get into that. Link in the description, archived, of course. Another outage has hit Newark Airport. Yes, indeed. Thankfully, this one is not as incredible as the last one. Apparently, their air traffic control is run by floppy disks, so it doesn't really surprise me. Before, you had 8 or 900 cancellations a day. This time, you only have about 70 or 80. Oh, that's really a lot better. Yes, indeed. When you're talking about that many cancellations in the context of it being better than the alternative, your airport might not be properly run. And this was warned about, actually, as I've spoken before. Donald Trump said back in 2015, before he was even a presidential nominee, your airports are dilapidated. He's gone to Dubai and Beijing and all of these other places, Taipei, and sees these wonderful airports that are so wonderfully run. He comes back to the United States, and all he sees is dilapidation. American airports, generally speaking, are not properly run. There are exceptions to this. Fort Wayne, for example. They seem to be fully modernized. Burlington Airport, ironically, which is not really an international airport, it services the Eastern Seaboard generally. It runs very, very well, and the people there are very friendly, and Burlington Airport is quite nice. Although it could use a couple more restaurants or something like that. It could definitely use that amenity and maybe an airport hotel. That would be quite nice. That being said, there are some airports in the country, Newark apparently among them, that are literally using floppy disks for their air traffic control. This makes absolutely no sense. And I see people blaming Donald Trump for this problem. Well, why hasn't he done anything about it? Oh, well, Biden and Pete Buttigieg, of course, of course, in control of that sort of thing, didn't do anything for 4 years. It was Donald Trump that actually sparked the fire that will eventually, hopefully, heat up the air traffic industry. It was Donald Trump that did that. He was the one who first suggested, hey, our airports are messed up. You need to do something about this. I go to these other countries and they're pristine and they're working really, really well. I come back to the United States, nobody knows what the hell they're doing. He already talked about this in 2015. This was 10 years ago, and nobody paid him any heed. They didn't listen to him. They said, well, you're being a conspiracy theorist and you're also anti-patriotic. How dare you criticize our airports? Very, very interesting now, isn't it? And they're still blaming him now, as though in his first 100 days in office, while trying to groom up the economy to make it actually work, and trying to, wall off the border and deport a bunch of criminals, he's also supposed to do that as well. Now, I do believe this should be a Trump team priority. I do believe that this quite clearly shows us that this needs to be taken care of as quickly as possible. I don't disagree with that. It's just you're expecting too much of the man. He can't do everything at once. Even if he properly delegates authority to other people, he gets blocked by the goddamn courts. Why would I not be surprised, for example, if a court told him, you're not allowed to modernize the air traffic system? I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if that were to happen. It would make perfect sense to me. Because this has happened literally, 100 times in the last 100 days, so to speak. Donald Trump is allowed to reform the federal system, but he's not allowed to reform the federal system. Nope, he's not allowed to do that. He doesn't have the authority. He has to go through Congress. This was literally argued earlier the other day. There was literally a court case the other day to that effect. Well, he has the right to do basically whatever he wants, but he has to go through Congress first. Okay, so you're slowing down the process. I think you're doing that for a reason. I have a feeling that judicial activism might be involved with this. With regards to this particular issue with air traffic control and so forth, I urge Donald Trump to just make a statement, say, this is a national security issue. If people can't fly around, that is under my purview, and I'm not going to tolerate it any longer. Fuck off. That's literally all Donald Trump has to say. And then tell the courts this is too important. If you have a problem with it, take it up ex post facto, and I will do it myself. Normally, I wouldn't urge such a thing. I'm not a fan of authoritarianism. But in such a case, where people's ability to travel from one place to another, especially on Mother's Day, of course. Yeah, happy Mother's Day, everyone out there who has a kid, by the way. Yeah, it's a little bit too important to simply let it wait. I would urge Donald Trump to just enact his authority and challenge the courts and tell them, look, you can injunct it if you want. I'm just going to ignore your injunction. You're not going to do anything about it, so it doesn't really matter now, does it? I don't need Congress's permission to do the things that Congress has already said are okay pre facto. I don't need your permission. It's not necessary. But we'll see what happens with regards to this issue. Newark Airport again suffering another considerable outage. The fact that only 80 flights were canceled, or 90 flights or thereabouts, should not be a good sign. That should be a bad sign. Oh God! Thank the Lord, it was only 90 flights that got canceled today. Do you understand exactly how dire that situation is when that is the conciliatory prize? I certainly do. I think it's nuts. It's absolutely insane that this would be happening in a first world country. If this were Rwanda airports or something, nobody would be surprised. Ah, okay, an airplane fell off of the side of the landing way, crashed into the air control tower. Okay, so there are 70 flights canceled. Okay, that's one thing. In a first world country that has like 100 major international airport hubs, you would think that things would be a little bit more well run, now wouldn't you? Unfortunately, that proves not to be the case. It's not actually the case. That's about all. Peace out.